Hi, this first clinic is on creating team offense, and we're really targeting junior coaches here, under 12s, under 10s. You know, kids are just starting to play basketball, and we'll look at how you can try and get some organisation into their offense. The first thing you'll notice when little kids play together, that everybody starts to crowd around the ball, a bit like a rugby scrum. So the first teaching point is to get ahead of the ball. You see the red line here indicates where the ball is, and imaginary line there we call the line of the ball, that red line. The four players who don't have the ball, their first instruction is get ahead of the ball. And then the player who has the ball is looking to either pass the ball ahead to players who have gotten down the court, or to dribble the ball down the floor themselves. But the first instruction should be get ahead of the ball. What you find with young kids is they all tend to, not know where they're going and have no real organisation to getting down the floor. So a good way of fixing that problem is to give them each a number, and that number allocates a court's position that they run to when they get down the floor, which helps create good spacing. So traditional basketball terms, the 1 is the person who brings the ball down the court, the 2 runs to the right side of the floor, the 3 to the left side of the floor, the 4 runs to the spot opposite the 1, and the 5 runs straight at the basket. So as the players move down the floor, you straight away now have some good spacing and can get into any sort of offensive alignment that you want to run as a coach. Say in traditional basketball terms, the point guard is the 1, the shooting guard the 2, small forward the 3, power forward the 4, and the big kid's the 5. You can also have them come down and form a 1-3-1 alignment, as you see in this diagram here, where the 4, instead of balancing beside the 1, would simply step into the high post. And again, it gives you good court balance to start any structure that you might have planned for your offense. Another alignment is a 1-2-2 alignment, where instead of the 4 balancing opposite the 1, they run straight down to the low post. But you can see the numbering system and allocating a role to that number helps the players get good spacing. They have specific roles about where they're meant to go as they move down the court. So the 1 advances the ball up the court with a pass or the dribble. The 2 runs the right lane and inbounds the ball anytime the ball's out of bounds on the right side. 3 has the same duties on the left side. The 4 inbounds the ball after a made basket and balances opposite the 1. And the 5 runs straight at the basket and then balances to the ball side of the court. The next thing, once you get down there, is looking to create movement of the ball and players. This can be done off dribble penetration, give and go cuts, pass penetration to passes, backdoor cuts, screening on and off the ball, all things we're about to look at in real life situation with the kids from Templestowe College. So you'll see in this video here, we've just introduced this concept to the Templestowe kids, and this is a drill we use for coming down the floor and balancing it. You'll see there's some confusion here. What they're trying to sort out here is who is actually the 4 and the 5. You can see the big kid there who should have been the 4 was a bit confused. The 3 is on the left hand side of the floor. What they're supposed to be doing is bringing the ball down the right side, kicking it to the 2, reversing it, and then going to the 5 inside. Hopefully the next group will do a better job. But as you can see, even these kids, this is new, being introduced for the first time to these guys as well, so I'm not expecting it to be perfect. In fact, it's good for you to see that it's not perfect. So you can see we've brought the ball down the left hand side here, so it goes 1 to 3 to 4 to 2 into the 5 to shoot it. So the 1 brings the ball down the court. In this particular situation, they're bringing it down the left hand side of the floor. So the instruction to create some ball movement is to, they've brought it down the right side of the floor, which has been the 1 to the 2. And again, these guys, the confusion here is caused because players haven't listened to what number position they are playing. You can see there's no one in the 2 lane on the right hand side of the floor, so someone has obviously screwed up where they're meant to be going. There he is. So now he's realised he should be over in the 2 spot. So now the 1 has it, they kick it to the 3, they kick it to the 4, he kicks it to the 2, and now we pass the ball inside to the 5. And again, just practicing good spacing and some of the passes that might occur as a team comes down the floor into offense. Let's hope this group gets it right. Okay, so we have good spacing straight away, 1 to 3, the 4, reversal pass, into the 5. Now players are cutting off the 5. Within our offensive structure, anytime the ball is thrown into the post, which is what I'm going to talk to these guys about here, our rule is for the player who threw it into the post to cut, and the player diagonally opposite, the one I'm pointing to now, to cut as well. The guy I'm talking to, Will, here, he actually made a cut himself. You can see we got the 4 cutting. The person who threw it in there should be cutting as well. But if Will can see a scoring opportunity to cut, then by all means he should take advantage of it. Again, we have confusion here, and the confusion only comes about by players not knowing what spot they're supposed to be on. So you can see here we're kicking it to the 1 to the 2. Now we've got dribble penetration, players on the weak side of the court moving to receiver spots to catch and shoot. And again, the skill standard here is not great, but hopefully you can get an idea of what we're trying to work on here. So now 1 to 2, skip pass to the 4, onto the 3, who looks to penetrate. The players on the weak side of the 4 fill what we call receiver spots, that is the weak side corner and the extra pass position, which is on the wing. There you go again, 1 to 2, to 4, to 3, dribble penetration, we dump it to the post player that time. Again, this is very, very early stages of introducing movement and receiver spots off dribble penetration. Just firstly trying to get the players an idea of where to run to on the court so that we have good spacing, and then some of the things that are likely to occur when we bring the ball down the court. So here 1 to 2, to 4, to 3, 3 drives it, pretty good space. You know, this group did a really good job here of kicking it to the corner, and then the extra pass. Unfortunately, the shot wasn't so good. I'm just talking to the kids now about the next thing we want to work on with this. So I'm getting this group out here to get the floor balanced initially. So here we're going into the 5. The 1 has got the ball over I'm pointing to here. So the 5 always comes to the ball side of the court when we first come down the floor. So here we have a 1 to 4 pass. We're just going to practice screening away. So 1 screens away for the 2, and then when 4 passes it to the 3, they screen away for the 2 as well. And again, we're just trying to introduce here the concepts of screening, floor balance, and things that might occur in a game. We're not trying to learn a patterned offense here, we're just trying to work over some of the scenarios that could occur in the game. So here you'll see the 1 screens away, the 4 screens away, the 5 should be over a ball side, that short girl there should be over a ball side trying to post up. I think it's important that all players get to play all 5 positions, because your really tall player here, like the tallest kid in this group, Callum, is actually a guard at the level of play that he plays at. So 1 to 4, 1 screens away, 4 kicks it on, he should screen away. 3 is coming off alternating screens, it might have a shot, dumps it into the 5, all good. Again, 1 to 4, screen away, good job. 4 screens away, good job. 2's coming off that, looking to score. Again, not the greatest skills of all time, but hopefully you're getting an idea of what we're trying to introduce to these kids as far as concepts go of floor spacing and some of the things that could occur in a game. Here we are working on setting screens away from the ball. 1 to 2, 1 screens away for the 2. 4 kicks it on. Again, very poor execution of actually the timing and the cutting off a screen there. But that's probably for your more advanced practicing now is some of the likely cuts that can occur after offense. Passes it, Just work on that from a 3-on-0 situation, so all 3 players get to practice making that give and go cut, and then we're going to pass it to somebody after that 3rd pass. So this guy here should shoot it. Again, not necessarily the structure that you might use in a game. What we're really trying to get here is kids getting under the understanding of balancing the floor and a cut that can lead to an easy basket, which is a give and go cut. Big kids cutting through there. That player who cuts need to looks for the ball the whole time. And again, not the greatest execution in the world, but a pretty good example of what we can build into. You know, there's a much better cut from that kid. Ball reversal. This kid will make a good cut as well, trying to get the ball. Again, as you get better at this, you're now trying to demand more speed, intensity on the cuts, and we build that up as we go along. Give and go cut, kick it on. You as a coach in all these things are checking for good passes, firm passes, and speed to the cuts. Once they get the basic concepts of how to balance the floor and the type of cut you're asking, like again, that was a very poor cut by her. She didn't even look for the ball. This girl here looked for the ball a bit better. Poor pass decision about who to go to. Should have gone to the girl at top. Now she makes a good cut. And for the shot. And again, the tempo is not great, but these are kids who are relatively new to the game. Give and go cut. Good cut by him. Kick it on. Give and go cut. Very poor cut by her. Good cut by him. You see he's looking for the ball the whole way to the basket. Very poor cut by those other two who, again, you can see fairly new to the game. Give and go cuts again. You see we're also working on balancing the floor here, so when one player cuts and vacates the top, other players are filling the gaps, and what we're finishing off here is with dribble penetration. So you can see we make our 3 give and go cuts, and then the player who catches that last pass is going to drive to the basket, and we're working on filling what we call receiver spots on the weak side of the floor. That is when a player drives, the players who don't have the ball on the opposite side of the court should look to move to spots where that player can pass them the ball. And again, not the greatest execution in the world there with the big kid, but hopefully you're getting the idea of what we're referring to when I talk about receiver spots. Give and go cut. Give and go cut. Nothing. This guy should... He's going to kick it on. This guy will drive. The 2 guys on the weak side should slide. Again, that guy didn't do a very good job. He should have slid down to about where the yellow line hits the baseline, and the other guy is sliding over to where the foul line extended should be. That would be the perfect scenario. Let's see if this group can get it here. Give and go cut again. Kick it on. Give and go cut. Alright. This nice girl here will drive. 2 players on the weak side are in pretty good spots. Her drive was not really a game-like drive, which is what we'd prefer her to make. Drive hard to the basket and try and simulate what could happen in a game in a driving situation. Again, very poor give and go cut by her. She should cut all the way down to the charge zone looking for the ball, like that girl does there. Kick it on. Now we should have a drive. 2 players fill those weak side spots. There's what we'd call a kick pass and an extra pass for a shot, which is really the foundation of what we're trying to work on here in creating team offense. Give and go cut. Give and go cut. Again, a very poor one by her. Give and go cut. Good one by him. Kick it on. Now he should drive it. The 2 players on the weak side should be looking to get good spacing. And that, again, is an example of kick, extra pass. Split, kick, extra pass. Alright, the next thing we're going to work on here again is making good leads. Now the weak opposite player is going to fly in and post up. Okay? So our rules: when the ball goes into the post, the player who passes it is looking to give and go. The other player opposite is looking to get diagonal to the ball, so the person in the post has the option of passing it to the cutter or skipping it out to the diagonal person for the shot. Or they can ignore both players and just make a post move themselves. So opposite players flying into the post feed, give and go cut, nice little drop pass, layup. Going to emphasise these are all concepts of play. Post player cuts in, give and go. That weak side player should have been moving more towards the diagonal from the pass, so they can be a potential receiver as well from that post player. Right. Good job telling them to make a lead. Opposite player flies in and posts up. Person who passes into the post makes a give and go cut. Diagonal person catches it and shoots it. That was pretty good. Obviously, as these kids get more experience with this, it flows a bit better. Opposite comes into the post. We'd also emphasise the type of pass we would use to throw into the post. We don't want a chest pass like she just threw there. Obviously, in a game situation, there's going to be defenders in the way. So into the post here, in, give and go cut, kick it. And obviously it's difficult to get kids to conceptualise what might happen in a game, where they're actually doing these things against defenders, but you as a coach have got to try and keep on top of them. Again, this group has no idea what they're doing, they're all over the shop. And I'm sure you're already seeing some of the players who consistently make the same mistakes. Okay, opposite guy into the post, good, give and go cut, good job. Guy on the weak side should have been diagonal to the ball, not getting towards the baseline there. He needs to be in a position where the guy with the ball can actually see him. Again, poor execution here from this group. They can get off. Opposite guy flies into the post, give and go cut. Alright. Now we give that player who threw it into the post another option. If they don't give and go, they can relocate to the middle third of the court looking for the ball. So the post player can kick it out to them. Here he's relocating to the middle third of the floor, taking his defender away from the post player who now, if they don't pass it out, might decide to go into one-on-one play. Opposite goes in. On the pass now, we're not giving going, we're just moving to that middle third. They need to move that a little bit quicker. But again, good example of post kick out and an extra pass. Shot didn't go in, but again, the concepts of what we're trying to introduce are there. Into the post, move to the middle third, kick out, extra pass. That was good. If that goes in, would have been beautiful. Good leads, into the post, move to the middle third, kick out, extra pass, shot. As you can see, the general skills need some work. Into the post, this will be interesting. Kick it out. Okay, not one of our best groups, that one. Just in case you're wondering, the young girl who has the ball there doesn't actually speak English, so she's got some challenges as it is. Kick out, shoot it. Alright, next group, please. So again, we're just introducing some basic offensive concepts here. What happens when we throw the ball into the post? What happens when we screen away? What happens on dribble penetration? All things that are likely to occur in a game that we're trying to work on. So here we're working on screening away. You can see I've got my fist raised there. That's the universal signal in basketball for, hey, I'm about to set a screen for you. Set your player up, wait, let me make a screen, create some space for you so now you can come across and maybe have a shot. So in any off-ball screening situation, or in most off-ball screening situations, you end up with one player cutting towards the ball often the person who's been set the screen, and another player cutting towards the basket, who is usually the screener. Okay, too often the person who screens just stands there and doesn't participate in the play, but often they're the one who gets open if they set a good screen. So here I'm talking about him rolling to the basket, him cutting to the ball. So there should be two potential receivers in any screen away situation. Here we go, screen away. He cuts to the ball, the other kid cuts to the basket. That's good. We're going to go screen away again. We should. Here we go. The kid should cut to the basket. You can see he's just standing there. Screen away again. Again, the other player who set the screen just stood there, but they're the ones who are more than likely going to be open if we execute that play properly. Screen away, cut to the ball. The other one cuts to the basket. Screen away. There you go, the big kid cut to the basket a little bit. Pass, screen away. You can see the guy who set the screen there is just not participating in the play after he sets that screen. If he sets a good screen, he's going to force his defender to help, and that means the person who sets the screen will actually be the one who gets open. You can see that kid there just stepped back, didn't cut to the basket. There's a good screen. What does he do? No, he doesn't cut to the basket either. So these are all the things you've got to teach these kids. You know, you see Callum there, good screen and cut to the basket. He's the kind of guy who will get an open shot in a game because he's grasping the concept of getting to the basket after he sets that screen. So screen, there you go, good job, right into the basket. Screen away. One player comes to the ball, she forgot to roll to the basket. Screen away, hopefully she'll roll to the basket. Yep, so you've got two potential receivers there after the screen away has been set. Screen away, bang. Screen away, roll the basket. Yep, good. Yeah, good extra pass. Can't make a layup. Screen away. Again, he doesn't roll to the basket. Pass. Screen away. He doesn't roll to the basket. Pass. Screen away. I think Cooper will probably roll to the basket because he's a bit more of a thinker than some of the other guys, and there you go. He's the one who ends up with the shot. As I'm sure you have. Some players listen and pay attention, some don't. Screen away. Didn't roll to the basket. Screen away. No roll to the basket. Screen away. Again, he forgets to roll to the basket. So they're all things that you pick up as you're coaching along and continue to instruct the players on. Again, we're trying to really talk instinctive play here, and like any instinct, until you've had the experience of trialling and error for a while, you're not going to get great at it. Your job as the coach is to introduce these concepts to players and work on them, but doing this sort of stuff gives you a point of reference of what you're talking about. So here we're working on what we call backdoor cuts. Okay, that is when the defender stands in the pathway of the pass to a player, that they cut behind that player towards a basket. So as I'm demonstrating here, Zach's got the ball, wants to pass it on, the defender is overplaying the pass, and so we cut to the basket, which is referred to as a backdoor cut. So we're going to get into that by setting a screen away to start off with. And Zach's going to lead out, pretend he's back being overplayed, and backdoor cut to the basket. And hopefully we can execute some good passes, make some layups as we work through this. I'm talking about here is the type of pass that they should be using when they're making a backdoor pass. It's not going to be a chest pass because there's going to be a defender standing in front of them, so they may have to raise the ball above their head. They may have to step around the defender, but it's never going to be a chest pass, which is exactly what she just threw there, a chest pass. So the kids, you just got to keep on them, and they can see there's a lot of things you've got to try and get through with them. It's just a process. So here you go, she should go backdoor. There you go, that's a better pass there, a push pass. So again, what the players are kind of conceptualising here is they're being overplayed, so instead of continuing to cut away from the basket, they cut to the basket. So on, he's been overplayed, backdoor cut. Again, not perfect execution, but for what we're working on here, introducing offensive concepts to players, not too bad. Alright, so he's leading out, overplayed. Again, she's got to give him a chance to go backdoor. Alright, so now we're going to play 3-on-3 and look at some of these things coming together in half-court offense. Okay. So now, if you remember previously, we had the post player flashing into the post. He made that move then, but the kid with the ball didn't throw it to him. This is what I'm talking about now. This is what we're trying to work on. So there's a pass. So the kid that threw it in should now make a give and go cut or relocate to the middle third of the court. The big kid thinks he's got to play straight away. That was all right. But what we do now is introduce defense to these 3-on-0 concepts, because everything changes once you introduce defense and there's more decisions involved. So here's the big kid coming in. Alright, poor pass decision there. So the first thing they've got to try and get into here is balancing the court. You can see that kid's dribbling towards where the other defender is. Not such a good decision. And what you'll find you talk about a lot down here is making good decisions. I think I'm making them do push-ups because of that. I think I've told them that when they get a defensive rebound, they need to balance it out, bring somebody into the low post, and practice that post feed and what we do from there. But these guys weren't doing what I instructed, so they get to practice their push-ups instead. I think that's what it was about. What I usually do is just tell them all to get down and start doing push-ups, and then while I'm talking I just have them keep going with the push-ups. Hopefully they're listening, and then I'll switch it over. Alright, so any change of possession is when the new players are meant to come in. That's what I was making them do push-ups about. Alright, so what we hope to see in this 3-on-3 play now is some of the things that we've worked on 3-on-0. So there's dribble penetration. Now you need to balance the floor a little bit. There's an on-ball screen. We didn't do that 3-on-0, but he's kid's got a bit more of an understanding of the game. There's a post feed and a kick-out pass, which is all good. Nice shot. So in this drill, the new team comes on anytime there's a change of possession or an offensive rebound or a score. So give and go cut there, didn't get it. Balancing the court, on ball screen, and a roll. Good job. I think that's the kid I told you before, understands about rolling. Not such a good pass there. Again, trying to keep the court spread. Post up there. There you go, there's good dribble penetration. The kid at the top should have moved to the weak side of the court into a receiver spot. Again, good spacing. Here comes a kid into the post. That other kid should have waited and given him a look. Again, dribble penetration. You'll find the good kids can penetrate off the dribble. They're the ones who can create plays off the dribble. On ball screen. For some reason the kids get the on-ball screen. There's a give and go cut. He probably should have been past the ball there. Yeah, he made that. Good job. New team comes on. Again, that's I guess a backdoor cut. And you can see once you introduce defense, the 3-on-0 stuff kind of almost goes out the window. It's good for introducing the basic concepts, but the best way to practice it is 3-on-3. There you go. There's a good cut into the post, but a crummy pass into him. And obviously the crummy pass isn't penalised when you do it 3-on-0, but when you actually have some defenders there, the passing becomes more important, which is why it's better to spend all your time with this stuff, or most of your time with this stuff, in a competitive situation, 3-on-3 or 2-on-2, where the kids are having to perform these things against defence. Again, there's good dribble penetration. That kid on the weak side, or the side of the floor the dribble was coming to, should have slid down and filled that vacant receiver spot down the bottom of the floor. On ball screen. No, nothing there. Now they just need to keep the court open and spread. Create a penetration opportunity. There's a screen away. Good job. Again, he's posting up that kid after he set the screen. He should have been passed the ball straight away, not 2 dribbles later. Again, all things that they learn when you're playing 3-on-3. Again, good dribble penetration by him. Got to be able to make the layup though. Give and go cut. Possibly should have got the ball. Good dribble penetration. Good extra pass there. On ball screen by the big kid. Now if he just rolls, he might get open. There he is right there, open, but not past the ball. Alright, so these kids are just taking too long. I'd put a shot clock on these guys now of 6, 5, 4, and make them have to shoot it, because there's just too much movement that isn't leading to anything. They just run around. So again, good spacing here. Alright, he's done a good job of getting the floor spaced. Pass, screen away. Alright, that player cuts to the basket, so now the screener should come back towards the ball. Callum's posting up, good job there. Okay, and he scores. Dribble penetration, extra pass, on ball screen. Again, the movements of the players here are determined by themselves. It's not a structured offense where they have to go from point A to point B. What we're trying to teach these kids to do is what I call play basketball. They're trying to make good decisions about when's the right time to pass, when's the right time to dribble, how to set a screen, how to cut, all those kind of things we're working on in this 3-on-3 drill. Normally I would pick it up more if I was coaching, but the purpose here today is get this all on film for you guys to see and hopefully to learn from. So Blues are off. Again, big kid coming into the post. I think they've done a pretty crummy job of throwing him the ball, and he's done a pretty crummy job of giving a target that is going to encourage them to throw him the ball. Again, not a bad pass there. Some of the defense here is not so good, but the focus right now is on trying to work the offensive aspects of the game. A good lead, give and go cut there. That was a good cut by him. He thought he had a chance. Alright, his man's off him, so he takes a shot. Good decision. Decisions are what we find we talk about the most in this drill here. Was that a good decision? Was the pass a good decision? Here's a good screen away, except the guy coming off the screen leads to a metre outside the 3-point line, which is where it's somewhere where he can't shoot it anyway. So players, when they're coming off screens, should be trying to cut into areas where they can actually catch the ball and shoot it. Again, way too many dribbles there. I want to coach the players to be assertive and aggressive with their dribbling. Again, there's a good post up, a good pass inside. On ball screen. He can hit that shot, that kid. tripped over the line, I guess. Ah, dear, oh dear. That's it. Keep the ball moving. Open the floor up. That's it. Good post up there. You know, bad pass into the post. Bounce passes into big kids are a turnover waiting to happen, I'm afraid. Good extra pass there. Good extra pass. Again, he's open, the defence aren't there. That's the best offence in the world, someone who can just catch it and shoot it. So you can see through general 3-on-3 play here, we are working on some of those concepts that we worked on 3-on-0. Again, what we're teaching players here is not how to run a structured offence. We're teaching kids about floor spacing and making decisions, you know, about whether this is a good time to screen, whether this is a good time to drive, whether that pass is open or not. They're practicing shooting in competitive situations. They're practicing keeping the floor spread. Again, bad pass into the post there, all those kind of things.